People ask me this all the time. Eddie, if you were to pick one place to live in Los Angeles, where would you pick? And my answer is always the same. Honestly, it completely depends on where you are in life. Because Los Angeles is not one city. It's a dozen different cities all layered on top of each other. And the right answer for a person in their 20s just getting started is completely different from a family that's trying to put down some roots. And neither of those options make any sense for somebody with a ton of money. So I'm Eddie Fallah, your local Los Angeles real estate agent, and today I'm breaking down exactly where I would live in LA and why, depending on where you are in life. Let's get into it. But before we do, please make sure you hit the like button below and you subscribe to this channel because I am doing videos like this every single week for you guys, talking about the LA market, breaking down construction costs, breaking down housing costs, and talking about what the up and coming neighborhoods in this city really are and where your dollar is going to go the furthest. So let's start with the 20s. If I'm in my 20s and I just moved to LA looking to start a career and build my life, but in a place where I feel like I'm actually living and not just surviving, the West Side is where I would want to be. Specifically Venice, Santa Monica, Culver City. Venice is where the energy is. Abbot Kinney Boulevard is one of the best streets in the entire city. Great restaurants, coffee shops, independent boutiques. It's got everything you're looking for. Most people don't even know that the Venice canals exist until they stumble by them while they're walking in Venice. And it is genuinely one of the most charming neighborhoods in the entire city. You're 5 minutes from the beach, and the creative and tech community is as dense as it'll ever be anywhere in this country. Google has a major campus right here. Snapchat actually started on the Venice boardwalk. There's a reason why people call this Silicon Beach, and it started right in the heart of Venice. Now, Venice isn't cheap. Renting a one-bedroom can cost you anywhere from $3,000 to $4,500 a month, all depending on where you land. But if you're in your 20s, you're probably splitting it. And splitting it puts you in a neighborhood that people twice your age are paying double to live in. Now, Santa Monica is a slightly more polished version of the same idea. It's a little more cleaner, a little more organized. You've got the 3rd Street Promenade, a farmer's market that runs every Wednesday and Saturday mornings. You got easy beach access and solid walkability. One bedrooms here average around $2,400 a month, which sounds like a lot until you realize what you're getting access to every single day. But Culver City is the one that I would push people towards if they want that same access, but with a little bit more breathing room. It has grown a lot over the last few years. Amazon Studios, Apple TV, HBO, all of those are based right here in Culver City. And the food scene, it's genuinely gotten great. It's walkable, it's clean, and it's genuinely going to provide you a little bit more bang for your buck than what you're gonna get in Santa Monica or Venice, just a little bit outside of those areas closer to the beach. What makes the West Side work when you're young is that it gives you a good quality of life without having to get in your car anytime you want to go somewhere. In LA, that matters a lot more than people realize until you live in a place that doesn't have it. But here's one honest thing I want you to know. The West Side is expensive. If the budget just isn't there yet, there's nothing wrong with Silver Lake or Los Feliz, which provide that same young, youthful energy on the East Side without having to pay the prices of living this close to the beach. So while you're building and stacking your cash, you can still have that youthful energy that brought you to LA in the first place. But if you can make the West Side work, that's where I would be. Area number 2, this is for people who have families. And for people who have families, there's a very specific area that I highly recommend that is booming lately. Because the picture completely changes when you have kids, or if you know that they're coming. Suddenly, it's not about what's the most exciting neighborhood. It's about space, safety, community, a neighborhood where you actually feel okay letting your kids walk around. A place where you can have a backyard and where neighbors will actually come and say hi to you. And when families ask, this place that I'm talking about that I guide them towards is always Calabasas or Thousand Oaks. Most people know Calabasas because of the celebrity crowd. That's how Calabasas became famous. And that reputation still exists. But what makes Calabasas actually great has nothing to do with the famous people that live there. It's the lifestyle that you're getting. You've got real neighborhood streets, hiking trails right off your block, and the Santa Monica Mountains basically is your backyard. There's farmers markets, good local restaurants, and a real sense of community that most of LA is not going to provide you. It doesn't feel like a sleepy suburb, and you're also not right in the middle of a city, which is a very rare combination to find here in Los Angeles. A home in Calabasas right now is going to run you anywhere from $1.8 to $2 million for a standard single family home. But what does that get you? A real yard, a garage, 3 or 4 bedrooms, actual space. It's nearly impossible to find anything like that for that kind of money anywhere near the coast. But Thousand Oaks is the one that I really want people to pay attention to, because this is one of those areas that a lot of people in LA don't really know about until they kind of stumble upon it or they're told about it. It sits about 35 to 40 minutes outside of LA, just past Calabasas, and it has a completely different feel. It's genuinely one of the safest cities in California, and that's not just hoopla that I'm telling you, it's backed by real numbers. The schools are excellent, the parks are great, and people there genuinely know their neighbors. There's a community feel that you don't really feel in other parts of LA. And the price point is a little bit more approachable. You can find a solid single family home in Thousand Oaks for right around $1 million, which in the LA market is significant. But I'll be honest about the trade-offs. You're gonna drive a lot more and you're gonna be further away from the action. But for a lot of families, and I've seen this over and over again with my clients, they make that move and they never look back. The quality of life for their kids out there is just different. The bigger point that I'm trying to make is that when people think of LA, they just think of the Westside, the hills, the coast. But some of the best places to raise a family are in areas that are overlooked by the majority of the population. Calabasas and Thousand Oaks are genuinely great areas to raise a family, and it's a place that a lot of people don't even begin to look at. More and more families are figuring this out every year. My third area is for the people out there where money is just not an issue, because here's where the real wealth lives in LA. All right, so let's say money genuinely is not an issue. You just sold a company, you had a great run, or you're just arriving to LA with enough money to pick any area that you want without being constrained by a budget. Most people in this situation immediately think of the first place that comes to mind, which is generally the Hollywood Hills. And look, the Hollywood Hills is iconic. The architecture is stunning, the canyon views are unlike anything else in the city, and there's a reason it's got the reputation it's had for decades. But I want to be honest with you about where the hills stand right now in 2026, because things have changed. When I first moved to Los Angeles, the Hollywood Hills were the place to be. They were literally writing songs about it. You could turn on the radio and there was always going to be some sort of artist talking about their life in the hills and how amazing it was. And don't get me wrong, those times were really fun. Some of my best memories in this city were selling homes in the hills, going to parties in the hills, having access to everything that Sunset Strip was offering. And while all of that is not gone today, it has significantly changed from the landscape that I saw between 2010 to 2020, prior to COVID. Back then, there was so much money and so much young energy there. There was so many artists that were living there, actors, directors. You could go at any time to a place like Hyde or the Comedy Store and see celebrities everywhere you go. It was a genuine dream LA experience that everybody thinks of when they move to the City of Angels. And my office is actually located right on the Sunset Strip, so I've seen that transformation over the last 15 years firsthand. Things have changed. A lot of the big money has left the area. They sold off their homes and moved away. A lot of the homes are sitting on the market for a lot longer than they used to. A lot of developers are building beautiful homes in the area and then finding that the price point they thought they were going to get out at, they're just not finding a buyer for it. The vibe has shifted dramatically. I used to see people walking on Sunset Boulevard. It used to be packed with patrons going to restaurants like Le Petit Fou that's no longer there, or going shopping for a nice luxury shopping experience. And honestly, now it kind of feels a little bit more like a ghost town. I've sold so many homes in the Hollywood Hills, and genuinely, I still am. But the dream that the Hollywood Hills used to provide is just not the same that it's providing now in 2026. Now, I'm not saying that the Hollywood Hills is a bad purchase. You just have to know when you're going into it that what you saw in the movies or on TV in the early 2000s is not the current vibe today. But I do have faith that eventually it will return, because it's just too beautiful for it not to. The point is, the hills is worth considering at the right price point and the right property, but it's no longer the automatic answer it once was for somebody with a ton of money who wanted the real LA experience. So where's the real wealth in LA landing right now? Bel Air and Brentwood. Most people have heard of Bel Air. It's a pop culture icon. But what most people don't realize from what they see on TV is that Bel Air is actually one of the best positioned neighborhoods in the entire city. And it's the most private neighborhood you're going to find within the LA confines. We're talking about gated estates, real land, serious privacy. The type of home where you don't feel like you're genuinely in the middle of Los Angeles madness, even though you're only 10 minutes away from the city. Brentwood sits right next to it, and it's got the same kind of energy. It's quieter, and it's established with some of the most beautiful tree-lined streets in the entire city. These are neighborhoods that have held their value through everything. And the people who own there tend to stay there for a reason. And then there's a place that doesn't get talked about enough in this conversation, and that's Silicon Beach. The stretch from Playa Vista down through Marina del Rey and into Venice has quietly become one of the most wealthy neighborhoods that's kind of slept on right now. Google, YouTube, Snapchat, Hulu, a lot of these major companies are based right there, and that's brought a lot of wealth flocking into those areas. There's a whole generation of founders, executives, tech money that has moved into these areas and have called it home. It has a beach, newer construction, a completely different feel from some of the neighborhoods in the city that have a lot of wealth but kind of feel a little bit more old-fashioned. And it's genuinely where a certain kind of successful person wants to be in LA right now. And then there's Malibu, which is its own category entirely. If you want a dramatic coastline, total seclusion, and cinematic views, Malibu is where you want to be. Just go in understanding the trade-offs, which we have spoken about in previous videos. So the short version is that Hollywood Hills has genuinely lost a little bit of its shine. But Silicon Beach, Brentwood, and Bel Air is where I'm seeing some of the smartest money going right now. And most people wouldn't name those three in the same breath, which is why I'm pointing you in those directions. Because smart money always notices trends before the rest of the population catches on. So the short answer is there's no single right answer for where you should live in Los Angeles. And that's genuinely awesome, because what other city provides so many diverse neighborhoods that you can follow in your journey of life throughout Los Angeles? And each different neighborhood provides a completely different lifestyle. You can move from one neighborhood to another and feel like you're in a whole new city all over again. Because the right answer is truly dependent on where you are in your life right now. In your 20s, building and exploring, go to the Westside. If you have a family and you need space, go to Thousand Oaks or Calabasas and get yourself a big backyard and a large lot. That's where you're gonna find a real neighborhood. And if money isn't a limiting factor for you, congratulations, Brentwood, Bel Air, and Silicon Beach is where the smart money is right now. These are my honest answers in 2026. Not based on reputation or what's trendy, but based on what the market actually looks like right now, based on real data that I'm researching every single day. And more than just data, conversations that I'm having with real homeowners. So if you're trying to figure out where in LA you should be landing right now, feel free to reach out. We'll have a long, in-depth conversation about where you are in your life, and I'd be more than happy to help, given my wealth of experience in this city, in all these diverse neighborhoods, and you can speak to somebody who knows this market inside and out. That's exactly the type of conversation I'm happy to have. I'm Eddie Fallah, your local Los Angeles real estate agent. Whether you're new to LA or relocating right here in this city, reach out. I'm more than happy to help at any point, wherever you are in your life. My contact is in the description below. And if this video gave you any clarity at all, please feel free to hit subscribe. I do these videos every single week covering a wide range of topics all about the Los Angeles real estate market. Can't wait to see you in the next one.